So I have the guitar, the capo on the 4th fret. I'm going to call these chords G, C, and D, even though they're really not. So actually that is like, if that's an A, it's like an A flat or G sharp is what this note is. But anyway, I'm going to pretend this is a G, and that's a C, and that's a D. So I've tuned the guitar to that. So it's in tune right there, hopefully. Anyway, so the main thing I'm thinking about is the root note. So it's a G chord. So the root note, some people call it the tonic, is the G. That's note there. And a chord, a major chord, is made of the 1, the 3, and the 5. Just like oblad D, that's how I think of it. So this is the 1, that's the 3, and that's the 5. So I'm just going right down the 3 top strings there. And when you're doing different styles of playing, especially if you're doing like country or folk or what I think of as a Carter family style, you want to alternate between the notes, those 3 notes, emphasizing the root, the G note. And usually when I think about it, I don't think about wonder what the actual quality or the names of the notes are. I just think of them as a 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and so on. Because if you're doing a scale, which it comes down to is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. There's another G. Those are both roots. But when you're thinking about bass notes, you want to emphasize this one, and you can use either of these two, the 3 or the 5. So you could go root, strum, 5 strum. I'm not moving my hand at all. I suppose you could use the other one too. And that's the basic idea, because even if you're just strumming, you could emphasize that G note. The other thing, so make sure you see that, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're looking at, so that's the 3rd fret on the 6th string, the 2nd fret on the 5th, and the open 4th. And you can do a lot of things with that, especially if you use this note, if you think about these notes. So let me finish with that. So you can go. And if you're doing a finger style, see if I can do that. I'm doing the same thing. I'm alternating between the bass notes. So a whole lot of songs are going to start on the root. Or they might start on the 3rd, or they might start on the 5th. So if you're trying to find out the note a song starts with, start with the root and then try these other 2. Because some of them will start on the 5th. So the other thing is you can play little melodies using these notes. It's easier to do like this. All I'm doing is going. So play around with this note, the 2nd, the the 3rd fret, and the open, and that note. And you could play lots of songs with just those notes. And if you're good, then you can strum, which I can't always do. So you can just pick them out. And it's good to practice to see if you can figure out what the melody is on the strings. So that's basically it. So you could do you get the idea. But at some point you're going to switch chords, and sometimes if I'm going to the C and I'm playing the melody, I don't even need to switch to the C. I just play the melody note that's in that the C would be covering, because you have a very, very, very similar situation with the C chord. Now I'm playing it with a G bass, which I think is actually the 3rd. So C, here's your C note. It's actually the 4th of the G, but it's the 1st of the C chord. And you have the same pattern and some of the same notes. I'm just using the 3rd fret, the open, then the next string down, 2nd, 3rd. It's exactly the same pattern, just dropped 1 string down. So if you're switching, that's if you're playing in C, but if you're playing in G, you're going to need to go down to the C sometimes. Now I'm going to the D. And I think Lynn, she was playing a little lead for the Ripple song and something like that. I haven't practiced that, so I'm not going to try it, but that's what she was doing. She was playing those same bass notes. So you have the so if you're back to the C chord, you can alternate the root, which is on the 5th string, with the 3rd, which is on the 4th string. But you can also, if you're playing a G bass, you can also alternate the 2 top strings, C and the 1, and I think that's a 5. And if a song starts on the 5th, you can go like, let me just start with this root note here. That's with us starting on the root, which is the C note. 1, 3, 5. Then G. Just to finish out, like if you were playing a progression, you had to go playing G now, then I go to C, and you go to D. D's a little trickier because E, A, D, there's your root, if I got that right, and it's also here. Those are both D notes. And that can be a little harder. I think you want to avoid this note, but you can play these two, the D and the A. alternate the fourth string with the fifth string, and they're both open. Because the A note is in the D chord. So you can use that, but you don't want to hit this one, because that's not. So if you're playing in a D chord, even if you're strumming it, you want to avoid this note here. So kind of keep your hand down lower. But one thing you've noticed people do is they wrap their thumb over the top and play this F sharp, because if you look at your D chord, those are both the same note. So some people, they put their thumb there, wrap it over the top, and catch that second fret of the sixth string. And then you can strum more freely, and I'm not sure it sounds that great, you know, alternating. I would just stick with the A myself, with the fifth string. So you can go, I don't know if I can think of a song. So each time I'm just alternating on those notes, but also I'm picking out the melody.